Good morning, everyone. Um, in this video, we are going to see about gearboxes and different types of gearboxes. First, let's see about the working principle of gearbox. Any combination of gear wheels by means of which motion is transmitted from one shaft to another shaft is called gear train. There are two sets of gear in a conventional gearbox, the input and the output. The input gear are fitted on the counter shaft, making them single unit. It drives the individual gear on the main shaft, which rotates freely on the bearing. Thus, the gearbox passes the drive to the wheels depending upon the gear which engage on the main shaft. Furthermore, when you push the shifter sleeve towards the desired gear, that gear lock onto the main shaft and rotates it. Thus, the main shaft rotates at the engaged gear's speed and provide the output according to the engaged gears ratio. Types of gearbox. There are two types of gearbox in tractors: manually operated or selective type, planetary type. First, we can see about the selective type transmission. In this, forward speed may be selected from the neutral position. This natural position has to be obtained before selecting any forward or reverse speed. This gear box consists of two units to cover with top cover with selective mechanism and transmission housing having gear trains, bearings and shaft etc. The gearbox housing contains the following shaft: primary shaft, main shaft or input shaft, lay or counter shaft, idle shaft. Primary and main shaft are in one line and the lay shaft turns parallel below them. The idler shaft is fitted on one side of the lay shaft, which contains idler gear to obtain reverse speed. The selective mechanism is housed in the top cover of the gearbox and is operated by means of gear shaft lever. It has lever, fork with shaft and locking device etc. Every speed is obtained from the neutral position when input shaft is disconnected from the main shaft. At this time, power will flow onward. To get different road speed, the gear shaft lever is moved from the neutral to any desired speed. Next is planetary type transmission. Sometimes it is also called epicyclical transmission or sun and planet gearbox. A planetary gear set consists of a ring gear, sun gear, and planet gear with carrier. To obtain different speed, any one of these three units can be held from rotation by means of lever. Planetary gear system is used in tractor drive trains to change gear ratio and carry heavy load. Its gear system are much more compact than simple gear reductions. The simple planetary gears are used as a final drive on most tractors. It also helps to provide a continuous flow of power during the shift. So there are different types of selective gearbox. First is sliding mesh gearbox. Most of the indigenous tractor are fitted with sliding mesh or sliding cum constant mesh type gearbox. The housing is made of cast iron. It is rigid in construction and serves the purpose of tractor frame. Usually, the main and counter shaft are parallel to the clutch shaft, but there are certain cases where the shaft is transverse. In addition to the shafts, a three-shaft carries a reverse gear. The upper shaft is known as the main shaft, and the lower one is known as the counter shaft or lay shaft. The gears on the lay shaft are fixed, whereas those on the main shaft slide to mesh with a suitable gear on the counter shaft. Gear shift rails and forks are used to shift gears from one position to the another. The shaft rails are kept in position with the help of spring-loaded detent balls or by other devices. This allows one pair of gear to engage at one time, otherwise the transmission system will not function and damage may occur to some of the components. The shafts are mounted in the transmission housing on bearing. Next is constant gearbox. The constant mesh transmission has parallel shaft one over the other with gear in constant mesh. The gear on the main shaft is mounted on bushing and are free to rotate along with the counter shaft gear without affecting the main shaft when in neutral. When the gear lever is engaged, the coupling devices, which have internal splints, are mounted on the internal spline of the main shaft, moving from one side to another to lock a free gear on the main shaft. Thus, the main shaft gets drive gear and coupling unit. When the exception of the helical gear drive to PTO and main counter shaft, the gear are of the spur type. All the gear being in the constant mesh and gear train connections being made by sliding coupling and connectors. The system incorporates a transmission type PTO. The main counter shaft is splinted internally to accept the external splints of short PTO counter shaft. Next is synchro mesh gear drive. It is basically a constant mesh transmission with an extra device called as synchronizer to equalize the speed of mating parts before they engage. This system is very common on automobiles and is very rarely used on tractor transmission. The hub is splintered to the shaft and the synchronizer sleeve is mounted on the hub. Two lock ring holds the shifter plate out against the sleeve. Each brass blocking ring have three slots into which the ends of the shifter plates fits. The inner surface of the blocking ring are cone shaped and match the conical shape of the drive gear shoulder with which they contact. This cone shaped surface provides the frictional force to synchronize the speed of the main shaft and gear. During synchronization, the sleeve is moved towards the selected gear, pushing the blocking right ring to the right. The ring contacts the shoulder of the driven gear and begin to synchronize the speed of the two parts. To complete the shift, the sleeve tooth pass through the blocking ring teeth because both are now rotating at the same speed and mesh with the clutch teeth on the drive gear. So that's the end of our video. Thank you.